Hey, before we start, I just want to give a special thanks to Ayush for helping me with this video. He's a really smart guy and has a ton of invaluable experience that I hope you guys can learn some stuff from. Also, I just want to put out there that if you guys like seeing this sort of content, then let me know by hitting the like button or dropping a comment below. Maybe you guys can give me some ideas about what you want to see next. If you want Ayush to respond to some of your medicine related questions, I could definitely get him to hop on and provide an answer to those. And yeah, finally, I like to say I'm kind of sorry that there's a bit of a wind issues with the mic, and also I was sitting in the wrong spot in the first clip. But yeah, I hope you guys still enjoy, and I'll catch you soon. Today I'm here with my good friend 𝐊𝐓𝐌𝐗. You want to give a bit of an introduction about
yeah, my name's 𝐊𝐓𝐌𝐗. I'm a first year medical student at Curtin University, and I went to high school at North Sydney Boys.
Yes, dope. So you're living in Perth?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going alright. Going alright. Yeah, it's been a pretty tough semester, but otherwise it's been pretty fun.
Okay, for sure. So this is like a bit of a Q&A, guys.
Yeah.
So our first question today is like, why did you choose med?
I found that I didn't actually know what I wanted to do after high school, like literally at the beginning of year 12.
Yeah.
Term 4.
Yeah.
So at that time I was like, oh shit, I don't actually know.
Yeah.
But I think throughout that term I was really like, exploring my options, and I kind of decided on med. Kind of variety of factors, mainly because of I just found that it's such a diverse profession where literally it's never stagnating. So it's always kind of you literally branch into anything you want.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's teaching, you know,
And
whether it's
It's good because like I know that obviously you do like the foundational med stuff, and then in a few years time when you get to understand the subject is like when you can choose like specializing or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Like in the future you can choose like which branch you want to go down to.
Exactly. Yeah, you can just stay as
So
like a normal
you
GP.
got like a little bit more time to think and really explore your options from there.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely feel that it's just honestly a profession where the patient-doctor interaction is really nice.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that relationship you kind of have with clients in any other profession.
Right, yeah.
So that's something that really attracted me to
Yeah,
going
for
med.
sure.
Yeah.
And I know that your parents are also doctors.
Yeah.
So you think you've been influenced a little bit on that end as well?
Yeah, a little bit. I definitely don't think it's like a major factor.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've seen them been working, tirelessly ever since as a kid. So I definitely feel that it's somewhat of an inspiration.
Yeah.
So,
have you heard any of their stories and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, I have. Like as a kid.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like that's kind of made
Their
me
experiences.
admire them for the job that
Yeah.
they do.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. So
We're back.
we're back. New place. I'm in the shot now. So we discussed on like why you wanted to do med.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you now, how did you prep during high school? When did you start? And how did you prep for getting into med? Because obviously it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let me know about it.
Well, obviously you have to say UCAT kind of like in June or July, something like that.
Yeah,
In the middle. And then, if you've done well in that, you then do interviews.
Yeah.
So obviously it's quite a rigorous process. It's not just your HSC and you're done.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the three things you kind of have to work towards.
Okay.
And I found that I did start off like a little bit late because I didn't really know if I wanted to do med at first. And so I really had to pick it up. But as long as you're just kind of consistent with it, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I definitely found that I wasn't really consistent for most of the year.
Okay.
And I kind of had to like do a lot last minute.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of prep. And everyone kind of emphasizes how intense you have to work and how hard you have to work for med.
Yeah.
But as long as you're doing it consistently, and like you really have the
you
desire
just break
to
it
do
down into smaller parts.
And it's really important not to be stressed. It's really important to enjoy other things, not just fully cut out on your hobbies and sports and stuff like that while you're prepping. As long as you're doing that and you're doing as best as you can, that's all you can really do.
I actually want to hop in onto that last idea.
Yeah.
I feel that year 12 is probably like the best year
Honestly,
of your
it can be
schooling.
the best or your worst.
Yeah.
And I feel like
That's just on.
you just have to make it. You have to work hard, but you also have to enjoy time with friends. You have to go out. You have to do sports, do all that thing that really kind of makes your life a lot better.
Yeah, there's like so much banter, you know, with the teachers,
Yeah,
with your friends.
exactly, yeah.
And like I found that year 12 was like great year.
Yeah.
And we found a little bit of that balance
Yeah.
between studying during the times that we should study and then enjoying during the times we should enjoy.
Yeah.
We didn't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
And we had like a bit of a split. So I
Yeah.
think that's really important.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, and you got your offers.
Yeah.
You did a few interviews from
Yeah,
what I've heard.
A couple, yeah.
Where'd you interview around at?
So I got Adelaide, Newcastle, JCU, Curtin, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I got a couple Dent interviews.
Okay.
I applied for Dent mainly
Yeah.
as interview practice, not really because I wanted to do Dent.
That is extremely smart.
Um,
I didn't think. That's actually a really
Yeah.
good idea.
I mean, like, it was an option for me
Yeah,
because it was
yeah.
definitely like
But-
very similar to med.
Yeah.
But my heart was really in med.
Yeah.
So I just kept it as
No,
as
because
Dent
I always
practice.
hear that med interviews are nerve-wracking, and if you don't get
Yeah.
enough prep in,
Yeah.
that's a really good way to just get a bit more real-world prep in, but a
Yeah.
little bit less risk. Because like
Yeah.
you know, it's like a
Well,
you know.
yeah, I would definitely say like do it if you're half considering Dent. If
Yeah.
you're not considering it at all, I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time because the Dent interviews are obviously Dent specific.
Yeah.
They're asking for your Dent experience.
Yeah.
They're asking,
Yeah.
you know, and I feel like, you know, I definitely did kind of want it, like I
Yeah.
kept it as like
Yeah.
my backup.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, when I had to decide, I just went for med.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely felt that it was really good practice for my other interviews.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the more interviews you do,
The
and
more practice you get.
yeah,
I
the more
mean,
practice
that's
you get.
standard across, like even in finance as well. Like you want to do more interviews like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, I found that like I didn't know that you did that. So that was
Yeah.
like pretty interesting as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I feel like we might have skipped over this a little bit, but there is also an application process to the med interviews. Before you get into the interviews, you do your UCAT. You've done
Yeah.
a bit of they might take your estimated ATAR,
Yeah.
or they'll take your actual ATAR depending on where in the timeline it is.
Yeah.
And finally they look over your application. So
Yeah.
how do you find application process in general?
I guess what I found was the application wasn't like it was just a lot of admin work.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it wasn't like you needed to do your CVs or anything
Yeah,
like that, which
yeah.
I think for finance you
Yeah.
really need.
Yeah.
For med, it was really just you need to have the marks, you need to have the UCAT,
Yeah.
and just apply. It's just the kind of formalities,
Yeah.
really.
Right.
For some unis, they do have answer a couple questions.
Yeah.
I don't know how much importance they put on that,
Yeah.
but that's just something you just have
Did
to
they
do.
ever bring up those questions in your interview?
I know for UNSW, which
Yeah.
I didn't get an interview for, but
Yeah.
they give you a couple questions which they only pull up on the day of your interview.
Okay.
So it's not really increasing or decreasing your chance of getting an
Yeah,
interview.
they just
pull it up.
you know, it's something to go off by.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like otherwise, like I didn't think of it as something that is make or break.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
something that you should. It's
Oh,
just
well,
part
obviously,
of the process.
yeah. Were the questions like a bit tricky or you know?
Not really. They were just pretty much just similar to kind of the questions you get in interview.
Yeah.
I think they changed. I don't really remember them
Yeah,
anyway, but
yeah.
they probably changed.
Yeah, just some basic questions.
yeah,
something,
Yeah.
like you know why you want to do med, or like
Exactly.
why do you want to come to Curtin or whatever the
Probably,
university.
yeah,
might be.
something like that.
Fair
yeah.
enough. Yeah. My next question for you was, how was your experience moving out?
Moving out.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was. I didn't really even think about it as it's going to be such a challenge at first because I was like just so excited.
Yeah.
It was going to start
With
med.
med and everything.
But it definitely was easier for me because a lot of people from Sydney were also going and studying at Curtin.
Yeah.
And so I was just living with them.
Yeah.
And like 2 and 3 of them were just from North Sydney boys as well.
Okay, yeah.
So it was definitely was easier that way.
Yeah.
I did find it a bit hard in terms of just kind of manage like cooking, cleaning,
Yeah.
just like manage that independent sort of life while juggling uni as well.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard,
Yeah.
and it was. On the other hand, it was pretty fun though, living with other
New
people.
experience, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
bit more like it's a different type of responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And not gonna lie, like I would get distracted a lot with
Yeah.
other mates. Sleep cycle would go completely out of whack.
Yeah,
But that's just something we just got to work towards improving.
of course.
But overall, I'd say it was tough, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. And
you know, living in a different state, it can be hard to like keep up your relations with like your friends and family. Like, what's your like thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely was pretty homesick for a bit towards the later end of semester.
Right. Yeah.
When all the kind of excitement died down.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like it's important. I would, call my parents, talk to my friends very regularly.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and it's important to kind of keep in contact with like the people back home.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of get all kind of busy with your life in kind of
Yeah,
uni
like
and stuff like that.
like you know, there's always so much going on. Like you always
Yeah.
have to focus on that.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
definitely was a good outlet to just kind of talk to them and then
Yeah.
just kind of get out of that world and
Yeah.
kind of talk to them for a bit.
Exactly, for sure. And yeah, I mean, you are flying back. You know, like you're here for the later part of this year, so the summer holidays.
Yeah.
Ayush is here for like a
Yeah.
couple months, like 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. So I wanted to hear a bit more of like, you know, like a bit more of the first year experience and like what do you like overall, like what do you study in first year?
Yeah. Well, in first year, I guess it really varies between unis, but for
Yeah.
me, we just kind of did the basics of kind of anatomy and physiology.
Okay.
Just learning about the body in general,
Yeah.
and a little bit like other stuff, just basic uni stuff, referencing, all that, just the
Yeah.
very fundamentals.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about Curtin is that they incorporated a lot of sort of clinical skills and hands-on learning as well.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about history taking and did a lot of physical examinations.
Okay.
And I feel like it's a good kind of just to learn about that now because that's going to be so important in later years when we're going to be doing placements on the wards 24/7
in person.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, you already got to experience a little bit of that aspect,
Yeah.
which keeps it really interesting.
Yeah, and I think most unis do incorporate that kind of aspect because it's so important to learn about.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that was probably one of the most like fun parts of this year.
And like you said, with placements in later years, so what's happening in the future then, like next year and onwards?
I'm not too sure, but I definitely know that next year there will be some placements.
Okay.
But for us, I think in year 4 and 5,
Yeah.
it's fully just on the wards.
Right.
It might be different for other unis, but that's
Yeah. So you'll be like following people on the wards, or do you take on a little bit of
responsibility? Yes, you actually have on years 2 and 3 when you're still kind of a junior medical student, you're just kind of shadowing.
Yeah.
But in 4 and 5, you do get given some sort of responsibility.
Yeah.
And if you do decide to go into more a rural place, you have a choice to go and do your clinical years in a rural area.
Yeah.
You have a lot more responsibility in that.
Yeah, because there's less people.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough then. Well, as for any more questions, that's all for now.
Sweet.
I'd like to thank Ayush for doing this video with me.
No, thanks for having me.
I hope you guys learned a lot. If you have any questions, please comment them down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you soon.